there, comic book friends. I'm Travis. It's the Comic Book Roundtable, except it's just me. There's nobody else but me. Mike's gonna be super late, so I don't know if he's gonna make it all. Just spent the last 20 minutes or so trying to get Mark's computer working right. He's got some mic issues, so we can see him just fine, but nobody can hear him. So that I'll have to wait till next week, I guess. We'll see if we can get that figured out for him to be on next week. I'm not sure exactly what's up with Rez tonight. She obviously has cool stuff going on, which is awesome. So it's just me. I don't think I'm gonna really be here for a whole long because I don't want to just talk to myself a whole lot. It was a decent week of comics. Surprisingly for me, the highlight comics, really some of the highlight comics of this week were both Marvel books. Still really enjoying Hawkeye a lot. I've been told by people who hang out on the website that I don't like to mention, Bleeding Cool, that this book will continue, that it will be a legacy book like in December or something like that is when it's going to come back. Because I keep talking about I'm worried that it's canceled because I haven't seen it anywhere, but I hear it's going to still be around. I'm excited by that because I just really like this mix. It's a good mix of, kind of all the different parts of the Kate Bishop Hawkeye that I really like. So I'm enjoying that. Curious to see what happens with her father because there's some interesting stuff going on there. So I continue to look forward to that. And Black Bolt, this was just a great issue. It's a really mostly concentrated on Absorbing Man. Largely, Black Bolt and Absorbing Man are tied to this post. Basically, they've been recaptured by the in the prison that they're stuck in, and the more they talk or breathe heavy, air is being slowly sucked out of the room they're in, and it seems like they're going to die once it clearly reaches the end. It seems like so we get this kind of great kind of him reflecting on his life, on some of the choices he made, and really kind of the good stuff. There's some great stuff in here. It kind of briefly mentions Secret Wars. There's a great splash page in here of him remembering first seeing Titania, which I thought was which was awesome. And it's interesting also what little bit that Black Bolt reflects. He's got some regrets about children and about his son, because of course, here's the page of him fondly remembering Titania. I mean, and that's love it. She's kicking the crap out of all the Avengers, basically. She's giving the boot to She-Hulk and, scrapping with Iron Man and Wolverine there. And it's all hearts and stars around her because he's, dreaming, of how great it was to have met her. But, Black Bolt does some remembering of his own, of his love. They talk a little bit about kids, all really good stuff. Lockjaw shows up in this issue, which was awesome. He's kind of a fun character. So art, like I said, continues to be superb, I feel like. So definitely continue to really enjoy Black Bolt. Let's see what our brief I want to talk about. This was kind of an odd thing. This is one of the first of the New Gods. This is basically DC's putting out a bunch of specials because this is like the 100th year of Jack Kirby stuff. So this has got a story up front. It's a new kind of one and done kind of a story about Orion. It was all right. The art was okay. I mean, I wasn't like terribly excited about any aspect of it. I like the characters of that era, but I don't know that I was. I guess there's some decent 4-color superhero artwork in there and whatnot, which was kind of fun. The fight part was fun. Some of the dialogue and the emotion I was supposed to get, I don't know that I really bought a lot into that. But yeah, I love this panel. This paneling where it's the big boom. That's kind of cool. I mean, I do like some of that style artwork and whatnot, but how I'm supposed to be feeling the rage of Orion, I don't know that I felt that in the story, as far as that kind of stuff goes. let's talk about this for a second. This ad. So here's the ad for the Dark Knight's Rise. The whole Dark Knight metal. And I don't know, they look like if the Justice League was redone as, like, I don't know, Dark Souls, the video game or something. It is. I don't know. Nothing about that really intrigues me a whole lot. They look like Warhammer models, kind of a thing to me, is what they look like. So I don't know how excited I am by that. But at any rate, there's a Walter Simons story in the back here of the New Gods, which is kind of cool. At least the artwork was pretty awesome, in it. And then towards the very end, we get some actual Kirby New Gods in here. A couple little short shots of stories, which were kind of fun if you don't actually already own the work and whatnot. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, I guess I don't expect a whole lot out of these one shots. I guess I love the characters, so that's why I pick it up, just to see what somebody might do with it. So it's all right. I mean, nothing, like I said, nothing particularly special. There's some ones coming up that I'm actually looking forward to. Some, Black Racer and some of the others. I'm not getting them all, I don't believe, but I am getting some of them. So we'll see. Batman. More of the jokes and riddles. Really enjoyed this. Lots of big splash pages. I don't know that the plot moves forward a whole lot in this, but there's a lot of pretty artwork to look at in it. There continue to be some great lines in it, but the Janet artwork is just amazing. There's these great spreads. We're going to see a little bit of a fight between Deathstroke, who's working for the Riddler, I believe, and Deadshot, who is working for the Joker. And we get to see them go at each other for a couple pages. They're both gonna, sniper, Batman or somebody, and they get into a big brawl. So we get some great double-page spread kind of stuff with them, of them fighting. I mean, I would think most of us would assume that Deathstroke's gonna win this fight. You'd think, once it got into any kind of combat other than just snipering each other. But still, some really cool stuff. Some great work. We get to see old Catwoman. Kind of excited by that because she's in the old costume. Let's see if I can find that. So that was cool because I do like the old in her purple suit. Yeah. So I kind of like that too. That was pretty cool. Some good interaction there. Present and past of the storytelling was kind of fun. So like I said, this wasn't like a blow my mind issue as far as actual, dialogue and whatnot, but there's some really, really good art. And there's a page in here that's really cool. That's got Jim Gordon goes to see both camps. You see the Joker camp and the Riddler camp to try and figure out how they can try and work this whole thing out. And it's a split page, and it's pretty cool too. There's a lot of really good splash work like that, for instance. So Shay the Changing Girl, enjoyed this issue. She's now in Hollywood. She is met her favorite sitcom star, and they end up doing kind of a body swap of sorts because she has taken some pills. She is going to die, and Shade kind of saves her, kind of rescues her in that twilight moment right before she passes, and they kind of actually change bodies. They kind of go on a tour of Hollywood, and Hollywood has latched on to Shade's body anyway. Ooh, look who's this new look, kind of a thing. So, and while that's going on, the people from Meta are still hunting her down. So we'll see what happens next with the whole madness thing. So let's see. Ever After, Fables Ever After. This book was canceled. This was the final issue. It was kind of stealth canceled. I didn't see anywhere that it officially talked about being canceled. They spent about half the book finishing up the storyline. Then they spend like 2 or 3 pages kind of them back at the home base. They make a cute, kind of funny snide remark about this. One of the characters like, hey, where's my sleeping quarters at? And one of the guys like, well, don't you know where that's at? Yet? I mean, come on. The guy's like, look, I've only worked for you guys for 2 weeks, and I've only been here actually in the place for 2 days. So I've only been here for actually 1 night, so I don't remember where that's at. And the guy's like, wow, it feels like it's been a year. Of course, this is issue number 12. And this last storyline really did feel like it took a year to go by. So I don't know if they're self-criticizing or what, as far as that goes. But and then the last few pages are basically kind of a way of saying, oh, there's lots of more story we could have told, but there just weren't enough pages for it, kind of a thing. I'm kind of surprised. I thought this would last longer than it was, maybe because the gap between Fables and this was so long that the Fable fans just never came back to this or didn't hear about it, or I don't know what. But a lot of plot threads that just never are going to be anything, because they were slowly introducing that stuff, and now it's all gone, which is, kind of a bummer. This one shot of Lobster Johnson was really good. They're stopping a guy from doing a prison break. They suspect that it is Lotus, which is a Chinese, maybe Japanese. It is Japanese. It's pre-World War II. This is a Japanese villain. Here she is laughing. She has these minions, and her minions are monkeys that wear like kabuki masks. So we get this great opening sequence of some dynamite, some monkeys placing some dynamite next to this wall, hopping away and going to pull the plunger to shoot the dynamite off. It doesn't work because they cut the cable. But anyway, so they fight against these kabuki monkey kind of things, and they end up engaging with the Lotus, and the Lotus kind of does a head trip on Lobster Johnson, and then he's kind of fighting in some sort of dream realm, fighting against her. There's some great artwork, some great paneling. Ben Steinbeck, great artist. Ben Steinbeck typically does the Baltimore stuff, but he kind of quit the last couple arcs of Baltimore. Haven't really seen him do anything other than covers, but he did do this one shot. And in this book is usually done by another guy, but I love this. So the Kabuki monkeys have taken control over one of Lobster Johnson's friends, this big man from China, and one of the Kabuki monkeys, to make him smile like they smile, literally just sits on his head and peels his lips back, so he has this kind of crazy smile and stuff. But good stuff. Another fun one shot if you're into the Lobster Johnson stuff at all. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. What else do I briefly want to talk about? Let's see here. Sex Criminals, end of the arc. It's finally happened. The kind of thing I'm kind of waiting for all along. There's kind of a big blow up, or a serious blow up. Well, it's not even a blow up. It's just kind of a quiet fracture and goodbye amongst some of our main characters and whatnot. But it also kind of sets the tone for what's coming next. The curtain has fallen on Act 2, as the writer says in the book. So we're going to get the final act, I would assume, coming next, however many arcs that ends up being, and whenever that comes out, because, of course, I don't think they'll start the next issues until they have enough of these in the can that they can release them consistently again. Well, but I'm looking forward to see what that is. I mean, this is always kind of a fun in some ways. You kind of laugh at the immature, ness of some aspects of the book, and then there's actually really good, poignant commentary on life and relationships and how complicated they can be, even before you add the element of sex into it. And then they do a good job, I think, of writing about those elements also. So great book. If you happen to read this book like I do, and you typically don't read the letters column, in this issue, make sure you thumb through the letters column, because there's actually more comics scattered throughout the letters page, because the book kind of ends on a note, and then there were some kind of dangling threads of some characters, and we get a few different pages of different characters doing different stuff, scattered amongst those letters pages. Not that there's anything wrong with letters pages. I just get kind of tired of reading them after a while. They kind of tend to be the same to me. And I guess I'm at a point now in my life that I don't need the education that some of those letters are, or the voyeurism of looking into other people's, whatever hang-ups, emotions, thoughts, or whatever are. But cool that it's there, for those people that enjoy that and want that. So, what else do I feel like talking about? Injection continues to be awesome. I love this cover. So we get the big old blowout from our stone circle. They do figure out how to fix that problem. They go and engage the local expert on the folklore. And we actually engaged the injection, the entity that was created by this group of people years ago to kind of keep reality from becoming kind of a flat, stagnant kind of thing. We get a lot more interaction with the injection in this. It has dialogue with the current main character in this arc of the story, which is all really interesting and intriguing. Part of me makes me wonder, is this the natural progression the story was supposed to take? Have they engaged the injection more strongly because this book's not going to last as long as what they thought it was? I have no idea. There's all those kind of things I wonder about. This book sells around about 10,000 issues, which is right under the mark for getting paid a good page rate by the big two. My understanding is with independent comics like Image Books that if you're selling about 12,000 issues, not talking trades because I have no idea on the trade part, but if you sell about 12,000 issues a month, that means you're getting about the amount of money that you would get from a good page rate for the big two. So they're a little under that, but I know all the people who work on this, Warren Ellis writes a dozen other books, I believe, and Declan Shalvey has lots of cover artwork that he does, so I'm assuming that brings him in a certain amount of extra revenue, so that may make this still be a profitable thing if they're enjoying doing it, which is all great. But yeah, I really enjoy the book. It's always intriguing, always interesting, great characters, always some good lines in it, some witty stuff and whatnot, so definitely enjoy it for that. What else do I want to talk about? Shit is really hitting the fan. The East to West issue number 34. We hang out quite a bit with the Mao, the wife of death, basically. She tries to do things a certain way. It kind of blows up in her face after the assassination attempt on her. She goes after the person that tries to assassinate her. It doesn't work out quite so well. She gets attacked and gets bombed. She's basically having to use a citizen army now, and she is going to war. She's trying to avoid it, but it didn't work out. So now she is going to war with like Texas, at least that whole segment. See how that all pans out. But just great stuff. We do get to see Death in this, and we get to see his son Babylon. They're kind of like having a father-son adventure across the I'm not sure where they're heading back to see mom, I would guess. So it's kind of funny. I mean, it's just like brief panels occasionally because she has a locket that has their pictures in it, and she keeps talking to them. She's trying to make these hard decisions and whatnot, hopes that things are going well and whatnot. When she talks to them and kisses her little locket, then we get a panel that shows that. And I just love that storytelling. Some good storytelling elements. At any rate, I'm not going to talk about the rest of these because I am hoping that the disembodied voice will get the comics read also, and we'll be able to jump on this week and talk some comics, me and her, and hopefully we'll be back next week. We're guessing that maybe we've got Mark, the Begging and Boarding Bad Boys issues hopefully figured out, so he'll be back next week, and maybe we'll have some other people on. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for tuning in to this quick little talk about comics. Looking forward to next week's comics already. This was a decent week. There's some good comics. Like I said, Happy that some Marvel is putting out some awesome books for me. Excited by that. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you next week.